Welcome back to the channel. Today's tutorial will be on how to make this beautiful cow neck top, and this tutorial is a beginner friendly, so let's get started. So first thing that I'm doing here is I'm marking a straight line, and this line will be our shoulder line. That line is our shoulder line. So from that shoulder line, I will place my tape like so and mark my shoulder to my bust point line. My bust point line is 12 inches, so I mark 12 inches. Then the next line that I will mark here is my waistline. My shoulder to my waist is 18, so I mark it 18. Then shoulder to hip is 25, which is the top length. Then I had 1 inch for sewing allowance. So I'm just putting the name on the lines. The first line is bust point, second line waist, and the hip line. So from the bust point line, what I'm marking now is my chest line. You will go up by 2 inches on your bust point to get your chest line. So the next thing I'm doing is I want to divide my shoulder into 2 and mark it on the shoulder line. From that line, I'll come down by 1 inch. The neck wideness that I want to use is 3.5. You can do 3 inch if you don't want it wide. So from that 3 inches, I will connect it to the 1 inch slope like so. So whatever you have, you measure whatever you have on your shoulder line, then mark it on your chest line. The second line is the chest line. I have 8 inches, so I mark 8 inches. So I'll connect it to meet the slope with a straight line like so. So the next thing to do is to curve. The next thing that I want to do is to mark my neck depth. The neck depth is 1 inch for the back. The back neck depth is 1 inch, so I'll just connect it to form this curve. So after that, I will go ahead to curve our armhole. So I will check whatever I have from the slope to the chest line. I have 8.5, then I divide it by 2, and from that I divide it by 2, then I come in by ½ inch. So after coming in by ½ inch from this point, then I will curve our armhole, and that's what I have done there. So the next thing is to mark our round measurement. So on the chest line, I'm going to divide my chest by 4, then add 1 inch or 1.5 for seam allowance. On the waistline, I will divide my waist by 4. Quarter of my waist, I will mark it, then I will add 1 inch. Bear in mind that there is no dart on these bodies. This is just a basic bodies, and we will not be using that for this tutorial. So on the hip line, I divide the hip by 4, quarter of hip plus 1 on the hip line also. Then I'll connect all the 3 points. I'll connect them together. So this is it after I have connected the line, and this is what we have for the front. For the back, because we are using the back to cut out the front, so I'm cutting it out at this moment, and this is what we have after cutting it. I will take it out, then fold my fabric into 2 and place this pattern on it, then cut out the back. We are cutting out the back now. At this point, you can pin your fabric with the paper, because when I did not pin it, this thing is just moving here and there. So on the shoulder line, I added ½ inch for seam allowance. So this is what we have after cutting the back, and this is it. If we open it, this is what we will have for the back. So now I'll put this aside, then cut out the front. So to cut out the front, I would try to label this again, because the one I did is not there again. I cut it out. The first line is the chest line, the second line is the bust point, the third line is the waistline, while the fourth one is the hip line. So from the bust point now, I will slash it open like this. I will not cut it through. I will leave some inch. Yeah, that's what I will do. I will leave some pieces I will not cut it out. So this is how it's going to be, because if you cut it out, you need to pin it back because it's not going to work. The side is always the same. So now I will fold another fabric into two, then place the pattern on it to cut out the front. So this is what I have done here. I already folded the fabric into two again, then I placed the pattern on it. So from this point now, I will open my bust points like so. You can do more than, I'll be using 8 inches here. I want to use 8 inches. You can do more than 8 inches. Just measure what you have from this point to the other point. So I have 8 inches. You can do more than this if you have enough fabric. So I'll pin it now because I don't want this fabric to be moving. So this is what we have now. So I will go to the shoulder line. The first line is the shoulder line, the edge of the fabric, the edge of the paper, I mean. So I will take my chalk now. I will mark whatever that I have. I will mark the shoulder line, then the neckline. Then I will take my straight ruler, then connect it straight like so. Please watch what I'm doing here. This is how I'm going to connect it. And this is what we have. So I will just cut it out. Please watch what I'm doing. That's why I did not fast this place. So on the shoulder line, don't forget to add your seam allowance that you are going to join the back with the front. So I added 1/2 inch at that point. So this is it. I will just cut everything out now. So this is what we have for the front now. This is what we have for the front. So now I will go ahead to notch. You can mark it, the shoulder line, that shoulder point. You measure it, just mark it, then you are going to notch it so you can know where the shoulder is starting from. As you can see, the notch, I already notched that place. So I've removed the paper and this is what we have. And this is our, even before we have not joined the back, and you already see that there is cowl at the, so this is the front and this is the back. So you are going to place the notch parts on the shoulder like this. You are going to place the front and the back together on the shoulder from the knotted parts, from the place that we notch. So this is what we have. So next thing that I will do now is I want to go ahead to cut out facing for the front. I want to cut out facing for the front. So I will remove the back now. So what I've done here is I've already folded another fabric into two. Then I place the front on it to cut out the facing for it. So I fold the fabric into two. Then I fold the front also. I fold it into two. So I'll place it on each other like this. I will make sure they are equal on that side. So I'll place it on each other like this. Then I will take my scissors, then I will cut out the shoulder line. This part that I'm cutting now is the shoulder line. So I'll cut that part. Then when I get to the end of that side, I will stop and use my chalk to trace it out like so. I'll trace it out like so. Then I will remove the front. After I have marked it on that part, I will remove the front on it. Then from this side, I will mark 10 inch. I'll come down by 10 inch. That's the length of my facing, 10 inch. So I'll connect it to meet that part that I marked earlier. So after that, I will go ahead to cut it out, and this is our front facing. Just cut it out. So I'll remove the rest of the fabric. So this is how I'm going to join it. If I want to join, I'll make sure that the right side is facing each other. I'll place it like that. Then I will start sewing from the notch part. If you want to sew, you are going to sew from the notch part, the place that will. So if I want to sew it, that's where I will start sewing it. So you can mark that notch part so you can know where to stop when you are sewing. So after that, you go ahead to sew it from this point that I'm touching to from the first notch to the second notch. Then you take it to your sewing machine, then sew it. So for the back, I already cut out a piece of fabric. You can use bias for this. I want to use it to tape the neckline of the back. So you go ahead to sew it from this point to the end. After that, you turn it, you fold it in, then sew on it also. So that's that for the back. So this is what we have after I have joined the strip to the neckline of the back. This is what we have. This is how it's going to be. So for the front, this is what we have for the front. I already sew it from the notch part to the end. So I'm going to notch the line that I sew now. Please, when you are doing this, be careful not to notch through your seam line. So this is how the facing is going to be. It's going to be inside, not the outside. So this is what you have. So now you can take it to your sewing machine, then iron it, and take your stay and take your hemming gum. Your hemming gum to gum the facing to the main fabric. I will do that after I finish sewing everything. You can do your own now. So what I'm doing here is I'm placing the front on the back. So you are going to join the shoulder line. You are going to join the both shoulder line. And you are going to join this part also. So I have joined the both shoulder, the front and the back shoulder, and this is what we have. So this is what we have now. So this is how our cowl neck is going to be. Our cowl neck top. This is the front. So now I've gone ahead to cut out another fabric that I want to use for the sleeve. You can use any sleeve of your choice. This is what I'm using, a puff sleeve. So I've notched the center of the sleeve, and this is how it's going to be. So I'll just attach the sleeve on the armhole. I will attach the sleeve, the both sleeve to the armhole, and I will add elastic to the hem of the sleeve, then join the both side, and I will hem the downside or the hem of the top. And this is all for this tutorial. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you.